Hello everybody, Hellcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere episode, 335? Today we're going to be talking about the Peregrine Attack VTOL. 30 tons, it's a 12-18, so it's very fast. Yes, you're actually getting past that threshold where you're going to get a 5 modifier, but that comes at a cost. No armor. This thing has a half a ton of armor on board. Has a fusion engine, though. That's a good thing. So, yeah, you can throw on some energy weapons if you want to. But with a half a ton of armor, yeah, you basically have just enough armor to keep from the pilot falling out. Alright, so it also has 2 machine guns on the front. Then it has 2 SRM-4s on the left and right, with a ton of ammo of each. So, yeah. The biggest drawback of this thing is, well, no armor. You hit this thing anywhere and it's dead. Even it can handle a single SRM hit on the front and the sides, and then you're into the juicy parts. So if you hit it with say a medium laser or a large laser or PPC or anything like that, it's dead. Yeah, that's the biggest drawback I have to say about this vehicle, is that, yeah, you're really having a bad time of it. Because, well, I guess you can handle a medium laser would kill it anywhere that I can see. So yeah, anything of a medium laser or better is just instant death. And if you're facing off against anything that has decent weapons like pulse lasers or anything of that nature, life expectancy is 1 or 2 turns at best. That's after you go. Basically, it's a VTOL that goes in, fires its load, hopefully hits with something, and then dies gloriously. Yep, pretty much. So, yeah, nothing really to write home about. That's the biggest drawback you're going to have with the Peregrine. And the whole reason for it is that the Peregrine put everything it had into movement to get it to go fast. And when you're going fast, yeah, you cut everything out, which is all of its armor. So, to be honest, if you looked at the Peregrine, and let me just look here, the basic Peregrine, if you dropped its movement down to say an 11, you gain 3.5 tons. You could put all 3.5 tons into armor, so you're running around 4 tons of armor. You might actually live for a little bit longer. So you'd have 11, 17. Yeah, you're not getting past that threshold, but, war mod. And if you drop it down to a 10, make it a 10, 15, which is still decent at getting around, you got 6 tons to play with. With 6 tons, you could add on some LRM-15s, or an LRM-15 and some more armor. So you could put 3 more tons of armor on and still have pretty much put an LRM-15. So at least you got a long-range weapon system on board. And that's the big thing about this, is that if you got it, put a little smaller engine, slow it down a bit, and then upgrade the armor, and you can put on a different weapon system. And I really, to be honest, I would probably drop the, if that was the case, if I dropped it down to a 10-15, put 4 tons on there, put 2 LRM-15s facing to the front, and then just have a front-firing SRM-4 as your short-range stuff along with the machine guns. Yeah, the machine guns are good for taking out infantry. But you want something that could get the job done. Now, another thing is a possibility is remove the SRMs. That's 5 tons right there. And then give yourself 1 ton for, let's say, a C3 slave. And then maybe a tag, and then put the rest, the 3 tons, into armor, and not really worry about this thing being anywhere. And then maybe you could even think about dropping the machine guns and put 2 medium lasers on board, and then you would have something that could be eyes and ears with a little bit of armor and just zipping around, shortening the range for your follow-on forces. And you got the 2 medium lasers for just maybe doing a little bit of damage as you're zipping around. You know, that's kind of an idea that you could go with. But it's one of those VTOLs that definitely needs lots of armor to survive. When you have none, you need some. And I don't even think by the design. Was even thinking about going into battle with just barely enough. Yeah, that didn't make zero sense to me. Now, there are a couple other versions of this. There's the cargo version. This one strips everything out and leaves you 7-ton cargo bay. So it could be a fast-moving special forces. This comes in at 88 battle value. The original version is 340. So, yeah, it's the cargo version. You throw some platoons of special forces in there, zip it up to the battlefield, drop them off, and then go back and get some more. Or even a lance of them, like making it into fast-moving deployment for your infantry. That might be an option that you could go with. Would be very interesting option. Very fast-moving battle taxi. So I could see some options with that. There's the Karita version. This one removes the machine guns and put a pair of medium lasers, but doesn't solve the problem. This comes in at 560 battle value, but it doesn't solve the problem of having no armor. So yeah, it's like they can see why these things disappeared so quickly. Now they were for the Wolf's Dragoons. I can see these being basically just fast-moving scouts that don't ever get into combat. He's like, oh, they're over there, I see them, and then move on and just kind of keeping an eye on things out of range, because the moment they get hit with anything, you hit this thing with an LRM-5 or 10 or even 15, and yeah, it's gone typically. Even a 3-point shot from an LRM-5 hitting this thing would be into the internals. So you got a chance of doing some crit damage or even taking it out. So yeah, it's one of those ones where definitely not worth taking without some modification. I just put it that way in the basic scheme of things. But I would say the cargo version would be your most useful one for dropping off infantry. Yeah. So if you're doing a combined arms, that might be very handy. Zip it in there, drop it, and get them, go back for some more. All right, so that's the Peregrine. You know, like I said, if you drop off a few tons of, or slow it down by 2 pips to where it's a 10, 15, yeah, you can actually make it into a fairly decent attack VTOL. And survive for at least a few turns on the battlefield. Take a few shots here and there. The way it is, the standard version, yeah, you take 1 shot and it's dead. All right. So, that's the Peregrine. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcracks out.